Hey guys, happy Sunday. So we are thrift shopping today. That's probably not a really surprising statement coming from me anymore, but today I'm really excited because you guys have so many questions about thrifting and how I thrift and how I go to stores or how I find stuff or how I come up with ideas, that I thought it would be really cool to give you guys kind of like my complete guide to thrifting. So I asked you guys on Instagram if you had any specific questions that you had about thrifting or that you've just been dying to know, so that I could incorporate them into this video. Actually inspired for this video by Haley's Corner, and she is such a great thrifter. She finds such good clothes. If you guys haven't checked out her channel, I'll leave a link to her channel below so that you guys can. She has a fantastic guide to thrifting too, and I hope this video kind of pairs really nicely with hers, and it just gives you guys a complete overview on if you guys want us to start thrifting. I cannot stress enough how, in a lot of ways, amazing thrifting is. For one, you're reducing your carbon footprint. You're buying things that are already out there and repurposing and reusing, and two, it's really special and more unique than going to a store and buying something that may be in someone else's house right now. Also, it's like cheaper to shop at a thrift store. I mean, if those aren't good enough reasons to start thrift shopping, then I don't know what to tell you guys. So I'll see you guys at the first thrift store. How do I know what thrift stores to go to and which are the best ones? So obviously in Los Angeles, I know all of the thrift stores. I go 2 to 3 times a week. When I'm looking for new thrift stores in a new area, I start by searching on Google for thrift stores in blah, in Kerrville, in Bernie. I look at all of the pictures for each thrift store to make sure that there's going to be home products, because most of the time there's going to be a lot of clothing. I list them all out, and then I legit draw a map. When I'm exploring a new city, I want to go to lots of different thrift stores. So we are increasing our odds of finding something amazing by going to more than one. I like to look for a combination of mom and pop smaller thrift stores and commercial chains. Personally, I've found that the thrift stores in smaller cities are definitely better than large cities. And I think it's a combination of the smaller thrift stores don't really have a lot of incoming donations, so they get a lot of their stuff shipped from other locations outside of their area. What are the best days to shop at the thrift store? So definitely avoid the weekends when you can and shop on weekdays. I usually pick Thursdays because at Goodwill that's also Dollar Thursday, so that color of the week is all $1. The only exception to not shopping on the weekends would be Saturday at Goodwill, because that's when they change the color from one to another. So now that new color and everything that's left is now 50% off. So if you're gonna shop on the weekends, go right when they open, beat the crowds. Also, ask your local thrift stores, especially if they're a smaller, more local mom and pop thrift store, what days they get the majority of their new stuff in, because you're gonna wanna shop it first. So be aware of what colors, what sales they're going on, and what days they get new merchandise. When I'm going thrift shopping, do I know what I'm looking for, or am I just going to look around? And the answer to that question is both. Sometimes I go to the thrift store and I have no idea what I'm looking for, and I'm just browsing around. I feel really creative in a thrift store, so I'm just looking to see what I find. And other times I go in with a list of things or items that I want to make for my home. So I could be looking to make some smaller things for like my coffee table or a bookcase, or something small for my kitchen. Other times it could be really large items like a pendant light or wall art. So I go into a thrift store thinking, okay, I know I want something for that spot. I'm gonna look for something that I can turn into that. I look past what something is currently and look to what it could be. And it takes a lot of creativity, but you guys are totally capable of that. Okay, so a section that I always look at is the basket section, because you can do so many things with baskets. I always look for smaller sized, shallow baskets that are in really intricate patterns. So I found all these cute baskets. Baskets like these are great to put on the wall because they're super light, so they're really easy to just nail into the wall. Super textured, so it gives it a really cool effect on the wall, I think. Also, baskets are great things to turn into pendant lights. Taking these handles off and making a pendant light out of it is so cool. I am such a sucker for a good vase, and this is never something that I really flip. It's just something that I just love. Prettiest little dish. Such a cute little vase. I love to look for pretty hardback books because underneath the covers are oftentimes really pretty colored hardback books. I used to look for books that just had pretty colors and I didn't really care what they were. Now I look for books that are kind of like in my style or something that would interest me, whether it was like architecture or art or poetry. These are normally the colors that I look for: black and like a little bit vintage looking, beige, and this rust and yellow color. But this one is also really pretty. I also always go through the frames because frames, if bought new, can be really expensive. Also, mats can be really expensive, but a coat of spray paint and reusing this mat from old artwork could save you a lot of money, especially when doing a gallery wall. Are there things at the thrift store that I absolutely avoid and never buy? Pillows, rugs, and swimsuits are like my absolute no's at a thrift store. And I think that's just because it's a personal thing. You can obviously wash a swimsuit, wash a pillow. It would be a little harder to wash a rug, but something about those items, I just don't even bother. I would buy a vintage rug. It would be used. So how do I decide if it's a good or bad price for an item? So everyone is going to be priced so differently. Even Goodwill, if you go there, it's going to be one Goodwill will be priced really low in one area and then really high in the other one with no real reason. I think what it comes down to is what's worth it to you. Something that's special to me and things that I'm willing to pay more for are more unique pieces of pottery or something that I know that I just can't find anywhere else. So it's really about what a piece's worth is for you. Also, the quality of the item. You could find a really amazing piece of furniture that has great quality wood that's going to be easier to flip or easier to sand and restain, maybe a little more expensive than a piece of furniture that's probably like from IKEA. So I would take a look at everything and like if you're willing to pay $10 for that really unique piece of pottery that was handmade and signed on the bottom, then it's valuable to you. But for someone else, it might not be. You guys, just look how cool these books are. And I'm telling my mom to buy them because they would be so pretty on an open shelving unit in the kitchen, because you rarely find pretty books like this in all these simple titles and all these pretty colors, and we're gonna ombre them from one color to the next. So cool. Sometimes you just find stuff at a thrift store that you have way too much fun with. Like these books are $1 and they're so cool, and there's 20 of them. So for 20 bucks, you have a whole display of beautiful books. So do I have a budget when I go to a thrift store? No, but yes. If I'm doing a video for you guys, I really enjoy sticking to a budget because I think it pushes me outside of my comfort zone to create something really special that's also really inexpensive. So normally when I do a thrift flip video for you guys, I'm trying to stick to about a $30 budget for 3 items and supplies. So I'm getting 3 pieces of home decor for 30 bucks, so $10 each. But if I'm getting something for my home and I'm finding something that I'm not gonna flip, I'm a little more lax with my budget. But have I ever gone over $100? No, never. For one piece, not even for a bed. Wow, that's pretty impressive. The bigger the item, the slightly more expensive it's gonna cost. So if you're gonna find something like a bed, you're gonna know that it's probably gonna cost you more than a vase would. So how do I clean thrifted items? I feel like cleaning thrifted items or just cleaning anything secondhand could literally be its own video, but I kind of want to give you guys a guide just on what I do. And since I've been thrifting so much this year, I really want to get into and actually ask experts like, how do you clean it? And then how do you know it's clean? So that video may be coming soon. But I think there's 3 major things that we're worried about when thrifting items, right? So number 1 is like smell. 2 is bugs, and 3 is like grime and dust and grit on the surface of things. So for smell, the majority of items that are going to be kind of not so great smelling are anything with fabric, so furniture pieces and clothing. If you can wash it like clothing, we always take our clothing to the laundromat. We don't even expose our house to the clothes before they're cleaned, which I definitely recommend, and also washing them and drying them on high heat. Obviously some clothing could damage in high heat or shrink in high heat, but it is the best way to clean clothing and make sure that it's clean. Obviously you can't throw a piece of furniture in the washing machine unless it has a removable cushion. You can use baking soda. Simply sprinkle on the baking soda, rub it in really good, and then vacuum it out. And that should remove the majority of smells. And now for, I feel like the most important one and the one we're always most worried about is bugs, and specifically
bed bugs. And the best tip that I can give you on this, and from what I've researched, is extreme temperatures are the best way to get rid of them. So for items that you could heat up to over 120 degrees over an hour and a half, do it. For items that you can't heat up, like shoes, jewelry, or like books, you could freeze. So anything below 0 degrees will kill everything. When extreme temperatures aren't an option, another great way is alcohol. 91% alcohol, my research has shown, is the best way to do it. Spray it down with alcohol, but keep in mind alcohol is flammable. It's probably not a great idea to just start dousing your whole house in alcohol and then lighting a candle. That could be really bad. So keep that in mind. Please be safe. For number 3, the grime and dust and buildup and grossness that just could get on top of stuff. This is gonna be a little more specific to what item you have. Let's take glassware, ceramics, dinnerware, anything with a smooth kind of surface that you can clean. Like, I picked up all of these great items at the thrift store for 50% off. I got this really pretty perfect color pot for my kitchen for $1.50, and 2 of these in another perfect color for my kitchen, 2 for $1.75. This really cool artistic banana, 7 of these really pretty kind of like dessert glasses, and I mean, look at all that gunk. These are ready to be cleaned. Stuff like this you can clean in hot water, wash by hand. If you find that there's any like really hard gunk or film that's over the top of it, alcohol is your friend. Clean it up, wash it again, and you're ready to go. Baskets are also a really common thing that I get from the thrift store. I love me a good basket. This one I got from Goodwill for $1.09. But I think the major concern with baskets is dust. And the thing about baskets is you can't submerge it in water because it's gonna ruin it. You can use a microfiber cloth and dish soap and hot water, and then dip the microfiber cloth in the dish soap hot water mixture, and then just lightly wipe all the dust away, and you're good to go.
All right, so it is DIY thrift flip time. First thrift store that we went to yesterday, I found this like cage thing, a stand of a plant stand maybe? If you guys know maybe what this was used for before, comment. So we got it from the thrift store for $2.99. Plan for this guy, spray paint it all in a satin black, and then along the top of the 3 holes, put a piece of wood and stain it, cut a hole in the top, and put a pendant light. So I went to Hobby Lobby and was looking for like pieces of wood.
So they have this wood flooring that has all these pieces of wood, like skinny pieces of wood put together, and it's on a backing. So it would be super easy to put on, but it's $12.99. I have a 40% off coupon for this. So then it makes it more like $7-ish dollars rather than $12.99, which is much better.
So since I have my dad's tool shop and my dad, I am going to leverage him to cut a hole in the bottom of this for our pendant light to fit. But I need to tell him how big to cut the hole. I'm just gonna take the end of the pendant light and put it right in the center on top, and then take a Sharpie and mark where I'm gonna need him to cut it. And then for our wooden piece that we got from Hobby Lobby, I need to cut it into 3 pieces. So I'm gonna have him cut that too. If I was at home, I would probably mark off the measurements and cut it with an X-Acto knife because I don't have any like cool power tools yet. I'm gonna flip it over and mark exactly where I want him to cut it. So I need this to go into 3 parts. What's 17 divided by 3? Oh, 5.666667. Yeah, I think to make it easier, I'm just gonna do them 5.5 inches long, and hopefully he can cut off the remaining so that we can make sure that they're all the same size.
Perfect.
There you go.
Okay, so now that our wood pieces are dry, all the spray paint's dry, we are ready to assemble it. So I've got my wood pieces and the epoxy clear, strong, really strong glue. Instead of putting the glue on the back of these pieces, because this is so holy, I think I'm gonna actually put the glue directly on the wire. because I feel like otherwise it's gonna like ooze. I'll work in sections so that it doesn't dry on me. And I'm just gonna lay this guy straight right on top. And we're gonna do that all the way around. Yeah, sets in 5 minutes, so which is good for my lack of patience. Okay, so I got it all on there. Confession, had to use hot glue because it just wasn't gluing fast enough for me, but it actually, I think it's a combination of the black paint not being completely dry, so the epoxy couldn't bond really well. So I added in some hot glue with it and it was able to stay, and hopefully the epoxy makes it really strong afterwards. Just gonna put our pendant light right here on the top, secure it with the little end, and add in an Edison bulb for extra cool effect. So let's plug it in and see what it looks like. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if I didn't answer all of your questions about thrifting and you still have some, definitely leave me a comment below. Follow me on Instagram because I oftentimes post the question box so you guys can kind of ask me whatever you want. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you did like it, and if you're not already part of our DIY family, hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell because I upload new videos every Sunday, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye guys. I missed you. Did you not miss me?
Hello.